You can read more books, you can watch more videos and try to motivate yourself as much as you like. But if you don't understand this one thing, you'll keep feeling stuck no matter how much you work on yourself. And it's not because you're lazy, it's not because you lack discipline or confidence. If anything, it's usually because you're trying too hard to fix the wrong thing. I'm Scott. I've spent years in real coaching conversations, and I've seen this pattern show up again and again in people who are thoughtful, who are capable, and genuinely trying to do the right thing. In this video, I'm going to explain what's really happening when you feel stuck and why understanding it changes everything. Feeling stuck like this is far more common than people realize. From the outside, life looks pretty good, life looks fine. Things are functioning well, you're doing what you are supposed to be doing, but internally something feels off, something's not quite ticking. Not in a dramatic way, just flat, maybe heavy, stagnant. And because there's no obvious problem, you don't know what to change, which makes that stuck feeling I've mentioned feel even more frustrating. Most explanations for feeling stuck don't really help. You're told that you need more motivation, you need more confidence, more discipline, like, come on, you can do it, crack on. You just got to do what you say you're going to do, which is true to an extent, but often none of those are actually missing. You can be motivated, you can feel capable, intelligent, and still feel like you're unable to move forward in the way that you want. When those explanations don't fit, people tend to usually turn the blame inward. Maybe I'm just lazy. Maybe I should be more grateful. Maybe I'm overthinking things like I usually do. Now, from my perspective, that self-blame is understandable, but it's usually misplaced. In my experience, feeling stuck is very rarely about a lack of options. It's about this internal conflict that we have going on. Part of you wants to move forward, you want to change something, try something new, take a step, and another part of you wants to stay exactly where you are because it feels safer, because it's more familiar, because you are essentially able to control the situation in the way that you want. Now, when those two pull in opposite directions, from my experience and what I see, is we don't move at all. Not because you can't, really importantly, but because you're divided. You've got one over here and one over here. What makes this difficult is that the conflict is not that loud, if I'm honest. It doesn't show up as this panic or crisis. It usually shows up as this hesitation or overthinking and a low-level dissatisfaction. And because it's subtle, you tend to live with it. You keep going, you stay busy, and you tell yourself that everything's fine, I'm fine. But the tension doesn't go away. It just goes quiet. When people notice they're stuck, the instinct is to push harder, to make more effort, to have more discipline, much more positive thinking, which does have a positive impact. What I tend to see is force doesn't resolve the internal conflict, it just intensifies it. And one part of you pushes forward and then another part resists. And when you're in that conflict, it resists harder. And the result isn't movement or clarity, it's I'm tired, it's I'm exhausted, it's exhaustion. Real movement doesn't start with answers, it starts with understanding. So instead of asking, what should I do, which creates pressure and stress, a better question from my perspective is, what am I torn between? When you ask that, you realize it isn't just random. That stuck feeling isn't random. It's pointing to something you haven't fully acknowledged yet. A truth, perhaps, maybe a fear, a desire, a boundary. Once that internal split is seen and you can see it clearly, movement becomes possible, not because you forced it, but because you're no longer fighting yourself. And fighting yourself is not the place to go. So here's a more accurate way to understand feeling stuck. It's not failure, most definitely not failure. It's not a flaw within yourself. It's often just a sign that an old way of being no longer fits where you are right now and where you want to go. But a new way hasn't fully been owned yet, and that's where the work needs to be done. That in-between space can feel uncomfortable, but it's also where clarity starts from, and it starts to form. This channel is about making sense of experiences like this, not forcing change, although that can have an impact. We don't want to force, it's about encouraging change, but also understanding how change actually happens, and it's internally and it's sustainably. And if this resonated with you, you'll probably enjoy the conversations that I have on this channel. And if you're feeling stuck right now, just know that feeling is often the beginning of clarity, not the absence of it.